Judas Priest are about to kick off one of the most anticipated metal tours of 2025.
Here we are.
And you know what? Just days before its release, I realized that I was most likely absolutely wrong about the Shield of Pain tour. First of all, in case you have no idea what's going on June 12th, Metal Gods are starting their Shield of Pain tour. A tour on which they will continue promoting their latest studio output, Invincible Shield, and at the same time celebrate the milestone of the 35th anniversary of their 12th studio record, Painkiller. And by the way, this by itself is actually already something rather extraordinary in the world of Judas Priest, as it is by itself nothing like what Judas Priest have ever done in the past. I mean, on one hand, yes, it is true, Judas Priest did have some retrospective tours in their career, including, for example, the British Steel 35th anniversary tour, on which they were performing the legendary British Steel in its entirety at each concert. But at the same time, it is the first time ever, although there were a couple of occasions on which they could have done that before, that Judas Priest are out on the road promoting their latest studio output and celebrating their classic record at the same time. So doing something very similar to what, for example, Iron Maiden were doing on their The Future Past tour, which of course was dedicated to their latest album, Senjutsu, and their 1986 record Somewhere in Time, and which, if you ask me, was a huge success among all of the die-hard Iron Maiden fans. But if, in all honesty, the pairing of Senjutsu and Somewhere in Time felt somewhat like a coincidence, when it comes to the Shield of Pain tour, in all honesty, can't really think of two albums in the Judas Priest discography which would be a better fit for a joint tour than Painkiller and Invincible Shield. As on one hand, in terms of their aggression and DNA overall, they do complement each other rather well, the same way as Screaming for Vengeance and Defenders of the Faith do. But at the same time, these two albums also represent two completely different eras of Judas Priest. And despite Invincible Shield on one hand feeling like a somewhat of a natural continuation of Painkiller, I kind of feel like the mix of the songs from those two records in one concert setlist will create a very interesting fusion and overall feel of such a concert, which might, if done in the right manner, captivate a listener's attention in its entirety. Or at least I really hope so, and I guess we will find out whether it's true or not very, very soon. Anyways, here we come to the first point on which I was most likely absolutely wrong about the Shield of Pain tour, and more specifically about my personal prediction of the setlist Judas Priest will perform on this run. As initially I thought of it in pretty much exactly the same manner as I did of the Future Past tour, and most likely the whole fact that we've been talking about Iron Maiden's latest run for several years now kinda did play an important part in it. But when it comes to the setlist of the Shield of Pain tour, I was pretty sure that the Invincible Shield album and the Painkiller record will be the two staples of this concert, and it will be the songs from these two records that will create the majority of the setlist for the upcoming run, when most likely it is actually not going to be so. As according to Ian Hill in one of his latest interviews he has given before the start of the Shield of Pain tour, the band will perform only 3 or at the very maximum 4 songs from their latest output on the upcoming run. Which now I think that in addition to the title track, those will most likely be Trial by Fire and Gates of Hell, as the band did kind of tease them already and did perform them a handful of times last year. Yet neither Trial by Fire nor Gates of Hell actually became a setlist stable in 2024, despite the whole fact that both of those tracks were actually met extremely enthusiastically by all of the Judas Priest fans when performed live. And yes, I can confirm that 100% because I was able to witness both of those songs being performed live from the stage. In addition to that, if Judas Priest do decide to go with the 4th song from Invincible Shield, which according to Ian Hill is already by itself rather unlikely, but nevertheless, I think that they might go with Serpent and the King. As first of all, it is one of those songs from the Invincible Shield album, which fits quite well with the Painkiller infused setlist, and secondly, well, Rob Halford did tell me last year in our interview that the band did rehearse it already to potentially include it in the upcoming setlist. And I don't know about you, but I would simply freak out if Judas Priest actually decide to play that one live. But at the same time, the last but not least, to close the Invincible Shield section of this video, I just have to point out that looking at the comments online, quite a lot of people are predicting, or at least expressing their desire to hear Giants in the Sky live. Which, in honesty, is actually a big surprise to me. As yes, it is one of the most emotionally infused songs on Invincible Shield, and yes, it is one of those songs which is extremely relevant today in 2025. But for some weird reason, I actually thought that I was one of the only weirdos who loves that track. But it looks like I'm not. And who knows? Given how unpredictable Judas Priest actually are with their setlist choices sometimes, they might actually pull it off. Giants in the sky. And the same goes for the Painkiller part of the setlist. In my original prediction of the setlist, I thought that the band will play at the very least 5 tracks from it, possibly even more. But then I realized one thing, that even during the Painkiller tour, the tour in promotion of Painkiller, Judas Priest mostly played 3, at the very most 4 songs from that album live at a given night, with the ones that got the most attention being Painkiller, Nightcrawler, All Guns Blazing, and the wonderful masterpiece A Touch of Evil. You know I want a touch of evil. So given all that, and given who Judas Priest are today for many heavy metal fans around the world, being one of the most influential legacy bands around, I actually think that they might not be able to afford to play 5 or more songs from one album at a given show. And they will most likely play Painkiller, A Touch of Evil, Nightcrawler, and maybe one more track from the band's 1990 record. And I don't know about you, but I would simply love for it to be Leather Rebel. The song, which at least to me has always been one of my favorite ones of Painkiller, and the one which the band has sadly only performed live twice in their entire career. Which, if you ask me, is simply a crime against humanity. Leather Rebel, lightning in the dark, Leather Rebel. But the craziest thing is that Painkiller is actually one of those albums that no matter which songs Judas Priest decide to play from it, the fans are going to love each and every one of those. And even crazier thing is that I can say exactly the same thing about Invincible Shield as well. And that's exactly what makes the Shield of Pain tour so unpredictable. And I'm actually really excited to release a video about how wrong I was about everything I said in this one when the real setlist will actually be revealed.
Ian, have we ever played this before live in like 20 years? 30 years? 40 years? About 40 years. That's a long time.
But anyways, are you guys excited for the Shield of Pain tour? And which songs do you hope Judas Priest will play live on it? Please let us know in the comments. And by the way, if you are attending those shows and if you see someone in Metal Pilgrim t-shirts or Defender of the Faith t-shirts, or if you are gonna be the one who is wearing those, please don't forget to send me the pictures and videos from it. I would love to use them in the upcoming videos. But for now, thank you so much for watching this short video, guys, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!